70 million lives. That is the staggering cost of the Second World War. It was a conflict so vast, it touched every continent and every ocean. But amidst the years of grinding attrition, there were specific moments, violent, cataclysmic turning points, where the fate of the world hung by a thread. If you think you know the story of World War II, look closer. Today, we are dissecting the 5 specific battles that didn't just prolong the war, but defined its outcome. From the frozen ruins of the Soviet Union to the scorching sands of North Africa and the vast expanse of the Pacific. Stick around for number 4. It involves a deception so complex, it fooled the entire German high command. First, we turn to the Eastern Front. Stalingrad, August 1942 to February 1943. This wasn't just a battle, it was a meat grinder. The Germans sought to seize the oil fields of the Caucasus, but they got bogged down in a city that Stalin ordered to be defended at all costs. It devolved into Rattenkrieg, Rat War, fought room by room, sewer by sewer. The German Sixth Army was encircled, starved, and eventually annihilated. It was the first major defeat for Hitler on land, proving the Wehrmacht was not invincible. While the Russians bled in the snow, the tide was turning in the Pacific. Battle number 2, Midway, June 1942. 6 months after Pearl Harbor, the Japanese Navy seemed unstoppable. They planned to ambush the U.S. fleet, but they didn't count on one thing: American towed-breakers. Knowing the enemy's plans, U.S. dive bombers caught the Japanese carriers with their decks full of fuel and munitions. In the span of 5 fatal minutes, 3 Japanese carriers were ablaze. The offensive power of the Imperial Navy was shattered forever. Across the globe, in the heat of Egypt, the third defining clash took place, the Second Battle of El Alamein, October 1942. The Desert Fox Erwin Rommel was poised to take the Suez Canal and cut off Britain's oil supply. But General Bernard Montgomery drew a line in the sand. With massive artillery barrages and sheer attrition, the Allies broke the Axis lines. Churchill famously said of this victory, "Before Alamein, we never had a victory. After Alamein, we never had a defeat." Now the moment that opened the Fortress Europe. Number 4. Operation Overlord or D-Day, June 6, 1944. This was the largest seaborne invasion in history. While the fighting on Omaha Beach is legendary, the defining aspect was the logistics and the deception. The Allies used inflatable tanks and fake radio traffic to convince Hitler the attack was coming at Calais, not Normandy. By the time the Germans realized their mistake, the Allies had a foothold that would lead them straight to Berlin. Finally, the end. The Battle of Berlin, April 1945. This was the death throw of the Third Reich. The Soviet Red Army unleashed a storm of steel upon the German capital. It was a chaotic, desperate final stand, involving old men and young boys of the Hitler Youth. On May 2nd, the city fell, and days later, the war in Europe was over. The world had been reshaped, but the map of Europe would be drawn in the blood spilled in these very streets. These 5 battles were the hinges upon which history turned. If the outcome of Midway or Stalingrad had been different, the world we live in today would be unrecognizable. Which of these battles do you think was the most critical? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into history's darkest hours.